Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 4 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that made me question everything. Story 1. My foster dog story turned into a nightmare. So I agreed to temporarily foster a dog, and now the original owner is demanding her back after I basically saved this poor animal's life. Here's what happened. Back in October, I saw some friends sharing posts about a dog that desperately needed a temporary foster home. My family's got the space and resources to help animals, so I figured why not do a good deed, right? Well, when this dog arrived at our house, I was absolutely horrified by her condition. She was severely underweight, we're talking 30 pounds when she should have been around 50. She had fleas crawling all over her, tapeworm, and get this, she kept drinking out of our toilet because apparently she'd never had consistent access to fresh water. The kennel her owner gave us was way too small for her, and don't even get me started on the garbage food she provided. So naturally, we took this poor girl to the vet immediately, got her proper medical care, bought her decent food, a proper bed, toys, basically everything she needed to be a healthy, happy dog. Fast forward a few months, and she's gained 22 pounds, her coat is shiny, she's playful and energetic. She's basically a completely different animal. Now here's where it gets messy. The original owner is texting me demanding her dog back. But here's the thing, this woman clearly wasn't taking proper care of her before. I mean, the evidence speaks for itself. This dog was neglected, possibly abused, and now she's thriving in our home. My family has grown attached to her, and honestly, I'm terrified of what might happen if we send her back to that environment. The owner keeps insisting she was just going through a rough patch and that she deserves another chance. But shouldn't the dog's well-being come first? I've invested hundreds of dollars in vet bills, quality food, and supplies. More importantly, I've given this animal the love and care she deserved from the beginning. Part of me feels guilty because technically this isn't my dog, and maybe everyone deserves a second chance. But then I look at how healthy and happy she is now, and I can't imagine sending her back to a situation where she was drinking toilet water and eating garbage food. The owner is getting more aggressive in her demands, even threatening legal action. She says I'm stealing her dog and that I had no right to get so attached since this was supposed to be temporary. But honestly, how was I supposed to not get attached after nursing this animal back to health? My family thinks I should keep fighting for her, but some friends are saying I need to respect the original owner's rights. The whole situation is tearing me apart because I genuinely just wanted to help, and now it's turned into this huge dramatic mess. Am I wrong for wanting to keep this dog safe and healthy, even if it means going against the original owner's wishes? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. My mom called me selfish for this baking drama. My mom just called me extremely petty and selfish over some brownies, and honestly, I'm starting to think maybe she's right. So I'm 16 and absolutely obsessed with baking. It's been my passion forever, and I'm actually starting patisserie college in September. My dad's always been super supportive of my dreams, but my mom, not so much. She constantly tells me I'm wasting my future, that I should aim higher, that the culinary school I'm going to has low entry requirements so it's basically worthless. It really hurts, but I've learned to deal with it. Anyway, last week my mom asked me to make brownies for her work colleagues. She does this pretty regularly, asks me to bake stuff for her office, her friends, whatever. And I always say yes because I love baking and I want to practice. So I spent my own money on ingredients, spent hours making these perfect brownies with a special chocolate ganache topping. They turned out amazing. But then when I handed them over, she made this comment about how at least my baking skills might be useful for something since I'm not smart enough for real college. I just snapped. I was so tired of her putting down my dreams while simultaneously benefiting from my skills. So I told her that from now on, if she wants baked goods for her work events, she can either buy them from a real bakery or learn to make them herself. She completely lost it, called me petty and selfish, said I was being ridiculous over one little comment. But here's the thing, it wasn't just one comment. It's been years of her undermining my confidence while expecting me to provide free labor. She keeps saying I'm being ungrateful because she's letting me pursue this path instead of forcing me into academics. But I'm not asking her to pay for expensive ingredients or equipment. I'm just asking for basic respect and support. The worst part is, she told my dad about our fight, and now there's tension in the house. My dad thinks I should apologize and just keep the peace, but I feel like I finally stood up for myself after years of taking her criticism. Some of my friends think I'm being dramatic, that I should just ignore her comments and keep doing what makes me happy. But others say I was right to set boundaries. The thing is, I do feel bad about creating family drama. And maybe I am being petty by refusing to bake for her anymore. But I'm also tired of feeling like my dreams don't matter to the one person whose opinion should count the most. Is it wrong to want your mom to believe in you instead of constantly tearing you down? Story 3. I didn't invite my grandpa to my wedding and I'm still conflicted. 3 years ago I got married and didn't invite my grandpa and step-grandmother, and I'm still losing sleep over whether I made the right choice. So my wife and I planned this intimate wedding with about 50 people. We had to make some tough cuts to keep it small, no kids except a few exceptions, only spouses or fiancés for plus ones, that kind of thing. The decision about my grandpa was probably the hardest one I've ever made. Here's the backstory. My grandpa remarried this woman, let's call her Linda, about 15 years ago. From day one, Linda made it crystal clear that she didn't want my grandpa's biological family around. She'd make snide comments about us, roll her eyes when we visited, and generally made every family gathering uncomfortable. But the real breaking point came at my cousin's wedding a few years before mine. Linda got absolutely hammered and caused this massive scene. She was yelling at family members, making inappropriate comments, and just being completely disrespectful. It was mortifying, and it really showed me what she was capable of when she'd been drinking. Now, my grandpa is this sweet, quiet man who's always been important to me. But he's also completely under Linda's thumb. If we invited him without her, she'd make his life miserable, and he probably wouldn't even come anyway. But if we invited both of them, I was genuinely terrified she'd ruin our wedding day. I mean, this was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, and I couldn't risk having her cause drama or embarrass us in front of all our friends and family. So I made the painful decision not to invite either of them. I told my grandpa privately, explained the situation, and he seemed to understand, though I could tell he was hurt. The wedding was absolutely perfect. No drama, no stress, just pure joy and celebration. But afterwards, I found out that Linda had been telling people I deliberately excluded them because I was selfish and ungrateful. She painted this whole narrative about how I'd forgotten where I came from and didn't care about family. Some extended relatives started giving me the cold shoulder, and I could tell the family was divided about my choice. The thing that really gets to me is that my grandpa and I haven't been the same since. We still talk and see each other occasionally, but there's this awkwardness that wasn't there before. I can tell he's still hurt, even though he says he understands. And honestly, part of me wonders if I should have just taken the risk and invited them both. Maybe Linda would have been on her best behavior. Maybe I could have assigned someone to keep an eye on her. But then again, maybe she would have ruined everything, and I'd be regretting that decision instead. It's this constant what-if game that's driving me crazy. Do you think I was wrong to prioritize my peace of mind over including family? Story 4. My coworker tried to trick me into doing his job. A coworker basically tried to scam me into doing his job for him, and now everyone's acting like I'm the villain for refusing to play along. So this guy at work, let's call him Jake, came up to me last month and asked if I could cover his client presentation because he had some kind of emergency. He swore up and down that the presentation was basically finished, that I'd literally just need to show up and click through the slides. Being a decent human being, I said sure, I'd help him out. Big mistake. When Jake finally sent me the presentation the day before the meeting, I opened it up and my jaw just dropped. This thing was a complete disaster. Half the slides were missing crucial information, the data was outdated, whole sections were just placeholder text that said things like, insert numbers here, and add analysis. It wasn't even close to being presentation ready. I immediately called Jake and explained the situation. I told him there was no way I could present this to a client, it would be professional suicide. The client always asks super detailed technical questions, and I'd have no idea how to answer them based on this mess he'd sent me. I asked him to either fill in all the missing information or at least give me a proper briefing so I wouldn't look like an idiot up there. And you know what he did? He basically brushed me off and then stopped responding to my calls and texts entirely. Like, completely ghosted me when I was trying to help him fix his own presentation. At that point, I realized what was really happening here. This wasn't an emergency situation where Jake needed backup, this was him trying to dump his incomplete work on me so he wouldn't have to do it himself. He was basically hoping I'd panic and finish his presentation for him. So I decided enough was enough. I sent him one final message saying that since the presentation wasn't in the condition he promised, and since he wasn't willing to provide the necessary information, I couldn't follow through on covering for him. I told him he'd need to handle it himself or postpone the meeting. Well, Jake completely freaked out. He started telling everyone in the office that I'd left him hanging at the last minute, that I was unreliable and unprofessional. He conveniently left out the part about the presentation being incomplete or him ignoring my requests for help. Some of our colleagues are giving me weird looks now, like I'm the one who screwed up. A few people have made comments about how you should always honor your commitments, even when things get complicated. But I feel like I didn't actually commit to finishing someone else's unfinished work. I committed to presenting a completed presentation, which is totally different. The whole situation has made me question whether I should have just sucked it up and tried to wing it, but honestly, that could have damaged my reputation with the client way more than this drama with Jake. Am I wrong for refusing to clean up someone else's mess, even after I'd promised to help? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.